All right, so welcome to Sour Horsepower, and today, as you can probably see around me, we're visiting Ian, his dad's garage. So he has a bunch of classic and vintage Fords here. He's going to uncover some of them for us. We just got done talking about his truck here, but we're going to walk around, take a look at all the cars. He's going to give us a little history behind them. So yeah, let's get to it.
This is a 57 Ford Custom. I bought this one, I guess 3 years ago. It is a 223.6, 3-speed on the column, so it's no rocket sled, but it's probably the most fun car I have to drive, just because of the 3-speed on the column. The plan eventually is to put a V8 in it.
Brown on brown?
Yep, brown on brown. It was originally Dresden blue, and the plan is to put it back to Dresden blue and white, two-tone, one day. It's just money and time.
Yeah, for sure.
But whoever I got it from, the person that had it before him, in an upholstery shop, and they redid the upholstery, and it's probably the best part of the whole car, even though it's not correct.
Yeah.
It's not actually correct. But it's, I would like to put it back. It's supposed to have gray interior in it.
Okay, so blue with gray.
Yeah, bro. Every 57 Custom had gray interior, no matter what the exterior color.
Oh, really?
This was the low line car. This was like the economy car.
Okay.
That Ford offered. It was the cheap line, and
Fiesta SE.
they were very yeah, they were very popular with the V8 option with moonshiners.
So is this the original color then?
Yes, this is the original paint right here. It was painted Dresden blue from the factory, and somebody painted this god awful orange, and then on top of that they painted it brown.
Wow.
So, but it's a fun driver. It's not in the greatest of condition, but I bought it sight unseen. It showed up on a truck. And
Yeah.
I was like, wow, it didn't quite look like that in the pictures.
Yeah, they never really do.
No.
Except that Fox body.
Yeah, that one I came out good on that one.
Yep.
So, yeah.
It's still cool.
It's cool. It's fun. We take it to cruise nights.
Yeah.
My wife likes it because it's quiet. Everything else is
Comfortable.
Yeah, it's comfortable.
Yeah.
But everything else I have is kind of loud. And
Yeah.
she doesn't like loud cars. So she says, I like the brown one because it's quiet.
Yeah.
And but we're gonna redo it one day. In fact, right there, that engine right here is the core. That'll be the engine that's built that'll go into that.
And what's that?
That's a 390.
Okay.
It's a 68 390. So we're gonna completely do that and then put it in there.
That's very cool.
And they're pretty much a bolt-in because in 58 they came with an FE, which is the family like that, and the motor mounts. The 57 and the 58 are just basically the same underneath.
Oh, wow.
So they'll bolt right in. So it's not
Makes it really easy.
Yeah, it's not too big of a deal to do it. So yeah, we call that one a turd. It's brown.
Yeah,
and
it fits.
And it's not in the greatest of shape.
It fits.
So we call it the turd, but you'd be amazed the attention it gets when you show up in it because you just
for sure.
You don't see them. It's a 57 Custom, and it's a 2-door sedan. You just
It's really cool headlights too. How like kind of eyebrows over top of the actual headlight.
Yep. And what a lot of people don't know is they actually made more 57 Fords than they did 57 Chevys.
More Fords than 55, 6, and 7.
Yep. But you see 57 Chevys everywhere.
Yeah.
It's because these things like to rust, as you can see by the rocker, which I have new rockers back there for it.
Yeah.
And they just weren't as popular, I guess, later on as the 57 Chevy.
Yeah.
But they did build more of those than they did the Chevrolets.
There you go.
So, and then this car, this is the last one we restored. We took a 3-year body off, every nut and bolt restoration on this. I have everything covered up. Everything's been covered up all winter. I haven't uncovered anything.
Yeah.
Well, these ones that are still covered, because we just haven't had them out.
What's the color on this?
This is mint green.
Mint green.
Yep.
Looks like it.
Yep. So it's mint green. It's a 61 Ford Fairlane, which is similar to a Galaxy. A lot of people know the Galaxy name for full-size Fords in this era. But the Fairlane was the cheap line in 61. It was the base line. And they, this was the last year for the Fairlane being a full-size car.
Okay.
They became intermediates in 62. So this car...
Yeah, it is quite large.
Yeah, it's big.
It doesn't even fit all basically in the camera view.
No, but it's mint green. That's original. That's the original color.
Did you find the original dealer?
That was on it when I bought it.
Wow.
Behind you.
Oh, yep. Don't want to step on it.
I found that. That was on the car when I bought it. I had it re-chromed when we did the restoration.
Wow.
And we put it back in. We never took the holes where that was in.
Wow, that's awesome.
So the car was built to emulate an optional superstock car, which is what the OSS is. That's actually a decal, but it looks like shoe polish.
Yeah.
Optional Superstock was a class that they ran in 1961 only at the U.S. Nationals in Indianapolis, and it was to highlight all of the limited production options that the dealers or that the car companies were putting out at that time. They were putting out new cylinder heads, new intake manifolds. They were putting 4-speeds in cars that didn't have 4 speeds originally. They were just cranking out these parts for all the hot shoes, and NHRA created one class called Optional Superstock, which later in 62 became AFX.
Okay.
A Factory Experimental. So, but in 61 they called it Optional Superstock, which I'm a history buff with drag racing.
Yeah.
And that was one of the coolest classes I thought, just because all the big names that later on, like Don Nicholson and Arnie the Farmer Beswick, and all those guys ran that class in 61, and they went on to bigger and better things. The Ram Chargers, that's where they actually made a name for themselves, was at the 61 Nationals in Optional Superstock. So, but this car is heater delete, radiator delete. The only option pretty much going for it is it has a 390 with 401 horsepower from the factory, which is a 3.2 option. It has a 4-speed, T10 4-speed in it, and it is built as period correct as I can do it.
Yeah. There's
nothing on this car that's visible that wasn't available in 1961.
Yep. And was this the original color of the car too? Wow. With the same interior?
Yep. Yes. This interior, when I bought it, it came from Texas. The car, I found it in Abilene, Texas. It was built in Dallas, sold new in Abilene. I bought it from a guy in Abilene, so it never left that area.
Yep.
And the interior was baked in it. It was just baked.
Yeah. Texas. Yeah.
Yep. So typical Southwest interior. It's a rubber mat car. It doesn't have carpet. It has rubber floor covering. So this entire interior that's in it now is new old stock.
Okay.
Vinyl, cloth. It's 3 different kinds of vinyl and cloth. And I found a place in Michigan that had rolls of it still on the shelf. So I bought it in bulk. And then I took it to my upholstery guy, and he made seat covers to duplicate or replicate the originals. So, but it is the actual correct interior.
That's crazy.
And the door panels I sent my original door panels to SMS, which is in Oregon, and they had them for 2 years, and they replicated the original door panels and made them they're exactly like the originals.
Wow.
You can't tell the difference. So, but yeah, so the interior was all done. It's last November, the Hershey AACA show, which is one of the largest antique car shows in the country, is normally held at Hershey Park every October. But it was canceled because of the virus.
Yep.
So they had a makeup show in Gettysburg in November, and that was the first AACA show that I ever entered this car in, and we won our national junior, which is the first award that you win as you progress through the judging process with the AACA, and it's a five-person or a team of judges that judge your car.
Yeah.
And they judged it, and I got my junior. So a big deal to me.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's very exclusive.
National level
It's
venue.
national.
Yeah.
And then it was nominated for the national award to be given out in Philadelphia last February, but that whole ceremony was canceled also
Yep.
because of the virus.
I do like how you have the M&H Race Masters
Yeah.
on the back too.
I actually got docked some points for that because in ACA judging, all 4 tires have to match.
Oh really?
So it has Firestone Deluxe Champions on the front,
Yeah.
and I have the M&H Cheater Slicks on the back.
Yeah. So
And they banged me for that. They took some points. So before,
but it's a better upgrade.
yeah. So I'm going to be putting some Deluxe Champions on it and the correct wheels in the back for this coming October because we want to go for the senior award this year.
Oh, for sure. That's gonna be awesome.
But I didn't do paint and body. That was done by Jeff Dalster at Aldo's Unlimited in Glenville.
Okay.
They did, but it was on a rotisserie. It was off the frame. But we did everything else. All the assembly. My father and I and my buddy Mike Strickler, we pretty much did it all. And my dad built the engine for it. It's the correct 390 401 horse. And I get the hood open for you. The hood scoop is a period correct, I guess you'd say, modification. That hood scoop is off of a Super Duty Ford truck, which was the full-size truck from the early to mid-60s. And they were on the trucks backwards. They were spun around the other way.
As like a cowl induction?
Yep, and they would let the heat out from underneath the hood.
Okay.
That was their purpose. But the racers of the day picked up on it, and they put them on just like we did. And that was part of being legal for optional super stock.
Because it was a Ford part?
It was a Ford part.
Yep.
So they put it on. So we put it on when we did the car. And then this is the engine. It's a 393 two-barrel, 401 horse. It's correct. Everything you see is correct.
I like the gold valve covers.
Yep, that's where they were. They said Thunderbird on them, even though that it's not a Thunderbird, obviously. Yeah. But that's what Ford put on them. This is actually a high-pod block right here on the engine stand, a 390. They were solid lifter from the factory. 11 to 1. Well, it was 10-7 to 1 compression from the factory.
Yeah.
They gave those guys some leeway there with that when they built the engines.
Yeah.
The way I got into them is my father, he raced one new. He raced a 390 401 horse Starliner, which he has one now. That's Ian's grandfather. And he did very well with it back in the day. And he bought another car. It's not his original car, but he bought another one. And we decided to do this one. We had some parts that fit the car, and we just went ahead and restored this one that way.
It's very clean, very nice.
But yeah, it's got the big brakes on a 3-inch. That was the big brakes back in the day. The high performance brakes, they were 3-inch shoes instead of the 2.5.
Wow.
So, and it stops fine, and so that's my show car.
Yeah, that very well done.
Yeah.
By the way.
And this is
the race car.
The race car. This is the troublemaker. When we were talking earlier, I've had this car since I was 14. I drove this car to high school. My father and I restored it together, and it was street raced around here back in the day. And it was red with a white stripe, just like it is now, with lettered, obviously. But yeah, that was my high school car. So this car is a big part of me. It's a Troublemaker 2 because my father had a 60 Falcon Gasser back in the late 60s that was named Troublemaker. So it's kind of a tribute to him. But this is it has a 427 Ford in it, stroked. It's actually 482 cubic inches now. The heads and intake and the cam was all done by Kuntz & Company in Arkadelphia, Arkansas. Jim Kuntz, who's since passed away, he came up with the combination. My father put it together. The car has been a best of 922 at 145. It's a flat tappet cam. It's not a roller. You know, roller cams are usually the go-to with these things. But when I was putting the motor together way back when, I didn't have the money for all the roller stuff. So we went with a flat tappet, and We now are the fastest flat tappet FE powered car in the country. We don't know anybody that's faster than us.
Wow, that's impressive.
And like I said, it's been 920s. I think it'll go faster now. It has a better set of headers on it than it did the 920s.
Mind if I take a look underneath?
Sure,
Yeah.
go ahead. So REF headers,
wow.
step merge collector headers on it now, which I think they make some more power now. And
That's a wild header design.
yeah, they're individual tubes. The way you put them together, and then they slip into the collector. So it takes two people to put the headers on the car, and but they actually fit much better than the hookers did. It had hooker super comps on it before that, and they were pretty bad. So
massaging.
yeah, it took us almost 2 weeks the first time we tried to put the hookers on.
Yeah.
Just making modifications to get them to fit. They just did not fit. But it's all steel other than the fiberglass hood, and the hood probably weighs, well, I know it weighs more than a steel hood because all the reinforcement for that hood scoop that we have on it now. And it's a pretty heavy deal. It's leaf springs.
Race car.
Yeah, there's some tires on there. It's leaf springs, the Calvert bars, and Calvert springs, Calvert shocks, so Caltrack stuff. And it's been a best of 127 in the 60 foot.
That's moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's moving.
That's foot braking with no trans brake. We run a class called Nostalgia Super Stock.
Yep.
It's supposed to emulate 60s racing, and you're not allowed trans brake. So it doesn't even have one in the car. So we foot brake when we leave. And usually, a lot of times it'll 60 foot on the back tires. It likes to carry the front end a long ways when it leaves. And we haven't been out for 2 years with the virus. And we just freshened the motor last year, and so it should run pretty good. We did a few more tricks.
Hoping for faster than a 9.2?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. We'd like to get in the 9.0s if
9.0s.
possible. I've always had this goal of running 899 with a flat tappet cam. The block is actually a 1963 427 block. It's not even an aftermarket block. So it's I mean, how many 1963 cast blocks do you know that are going low nines? I mean, it's
Probably not many.
no. So, but that's the deal right there. And my buddy Charlie Booz at BBR, he helped me out with this last time when we freshened the motor up. He did a little bit of his witchcraft on it too. So we'll see. We'll see if it goes faster.
Yeah.
And but yeah, this thing is part of me. It's like an old shoe. It's when you've had something since you were 14 years old. I'm 54 now, so I've had it 40 years, and it's not going anywhere. I've always made the joke that I'll go homeless before I sell my Fairlane.
Yep.
You know.
I understand that.
So that's just part of me. So that's that. And then this one here, this is the next to the last car I acquired. It was only one day separated from the silver one. This is a 1993 Mustang, obviously 5.0, 5-speed. What makes this car pretty cool or unique, to me at least, is it's an SSP, which means a special service package car. This car was actually a South Carolina police car.
Okay.
When it was new. A pursuit car. So
It's got some pipes on the back.
yeah,
it's
got some Bassani catbacks on it now. Somebody along the way has done that. That's not factory.
Yeah.
Either are the pony wheels. It's supposed to have 10 holes on it.
Okay.
Anybody that's into these 5.0s should notice that, and that will be changed eventually. But somebody kind of civilianized it and put the later model ponies on. The ponies would be correct if it was a civilian version, not the SSP, because they went away from the 10 holes to the ponies, I believe, in 91, but all police cars got 10 holes, no matter what year. This car is also electric red, which was a 1 year only option, which was 93 last year for the Fox body. And another thing that makes this car kind of unique is it was built July 2nd, 1993, which is 8 days before Ian was born.
Oh, look at that.
So yeah, so I think that's kind of cool.
This is aged better.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
And but it's a nice car. It's been painted. It needs to be painted again to be really nice.
Interior looks pretty good.
Yeah, the interior's good. It's like I said, it's a 5-speed. All right.
There we go.
have one little doohickey there in the seat.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
It runs good. I don't know if it matters, but anyway, I retired. I was a police officer for 33 years. I retired the first of the year, and I decided I wanted something to celebrate, I guess, a gift to myself.
Yeah.
So I started looking for a Fox body. I had an 88 Thunderbird Turbo Coupe when it was new, but I never had a Fox body Mustang, and I always liked them.
Then you got 2.
Now I got 2. I went from being an owner to a collector all in one day.
Yep.
So, but I like the trunk. I like the coupe because you just don't see them. You see a lot more hatchbacks than you do trunks. Because the majority of these trunks always they became drag radial cars.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you get on Outlaw Race, they're everywhere.
Yep.
So, but yeah, so that's that, and that's we're gonna do some work to this over time. The silver one's gonna pretty much, other than just cleaning some more things up, it's gonna pretty much stay the way it is.
Stay the time capsule that it is.
The Survivor time capsule. This one, I want eventually it's gonna be painted and just detailed and just some work done to it.
Have a little fun with it.
Yep, have some fun with it. So, but it's pretty awesome. It's a neat car. I don't know if you're interested in the story how this why I ended up with 2.
Sure.
I'll tell you real quick. I had found this, or a buddy of mine found this car on Facebook on a Fox Body for sale page, and he knew I was looking for one, so he sent it to me. So I got a hold of the owner, told him, you know, I'm interested in your car. Can we set up a time? Well, he was an over-the-road trucker, and he wasn't going to be home till later in the week. And he says, let's set up Friday morning. You know, you can come over and take a look at the car. And when I saw this thing, you know, it really flipped my trigger with it being red. And, and
there is a theme here with all the red.
Yeah. I kind of like red. So, and it started a long time ago. Yep. But this car, what I really liked about it was the SSP aspect, the police car aspect, and because there's a following for these cars, it kind of makes them desirable. So 9:30 the night before I was supposed to go look at it, he sends me a text and says, hey, I'm not interested in selling the car anymore. I changed my mind. So it was a heartbreaker. So I was like, okay. So we left it at that. You know, basically, I told him, if you ever change your mind, let me know. Yeah. Well, I knew about the silver one in Texas, and I really had the fever to buy a car. So my wife and I had a big talk. We liked everything that made that car what it is, and we decided just go ahead and just buy the silver car. So we wired the money to Texas to make payment on the car. Well, first we sent a deposit, then we end up sending the balance, buying the car. And 20 minutes after I wired the money for the silver car, I got a text. Yep. I got a text. Hey, are you still interested in the car?
Well, I guess so.
I looked at my phone for about 5 minutes in disbelief, shaking, and then I finally said, yeah, I am. Yeah. So I went over and took a look at it and made a deal a couple days later, and now I have 2 of them. Yep. So that's what happened.
That's a great story.
Yeah. So that's why I have 2. I really only wanted 1. But that's my collection. Yeah. And I like Fords, obviously. Yeah. And I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's definitely. I'm kind of at a loss for words because, you know, you got so much like history and not only the memorabilia, but the wide variety of cars. You got a new Mustang, you got the mid years with the Fox bodies, and you got the old vintage style Fords. It's just absolutely fantastic.
We do 50s, 60s. We skipped the 70s for some reason, and then we jump in the 80s. We jump right into the early 90s, and then we go to the 18. Yep. And so I don't know. Maybe that means I got to buy something from the 70s, fill that hole.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. I'm kind of thinking maybe a Ford Highboy.
There you go.
250.
There you go.
But that's down the road. Yeah. I want to stay married at this point.
Maybe some more space.
Yeah, we need to figure out our space problem.
Yeah, well, again, thank you so much for showing me around.
No problem.
I greatly appreciate it.
You're welcome anytime.
Yep. So that's going to be it for today's video. I'm sure you guys have probably enjoyed the walk around here. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and give us a like, comment below your thoughts, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Have a great day.